Welcome back. 9/11 here on your Friday morning. Prices for food have been on the rise for a while. Now it's astronomical. It's making it harder for families to make their ends meet. So to help, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan is teaming up with the United Dairy Industry to invest more than $250,000 to support local food pantries across Michigan. Now, take a look at this map. This shows the area where families have access to these food pantries here in Metro Detroit. There are locations in Wayne, Macomb, and Oakland counties all over our area. That will help investments with 41 food pantries providing fresh and healthy foods to nearly 30,000 Michigan families. Now take a look at this page from Feeding America. Michigan faces a serious food insecurity problem. At least 1.5 million people struggle in the state to have access to food. That includes many seniors, veterans, and those with disabilities. So to help us understand exactly how this is going to work, we have Shannon Carney Oleksyk, I'm sorry, I pronounced that wrong, even though she told me how to say it. She is the Healthy Living Advisor and Program Manager at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Thank you so much for coming in today. So a lot of cash being infused in the program. How do you decide how it gets distributed and how all this works?
Well, the grant provides refrigeration equipment for these food pantries.
Okay,
So food pantries, we know, local food pantries are often supported by their local community, their local food banks, even local community members.
Right.
So they often don't have the infrastructure to provide a large-scale refrigeration unit. So you can think of it like a convenience store. You see it's the glass front, you see the fresh, healthy foods, you want to pick them. And they're filled with dairy products, fruits, vegetables, all the things we know that keep people healthy. So we're happy to provide this infrastructure, and we've heard feedback from these pantries that it's been incredibly successful.
You know, what's interesting is that whenever there's donations being asked to supply those food pantries, we always hear shelf stable.
Yes.
Right. So now we're trying to get not away from that, but try to expand the offerings.
Yes, because these especially young families, it's seniors, it's veterans, like you said. You know, everyone loves to have a gallon of milk. They love to have, some cheese, some fruits, some veggies. Have that well-balanced diet for their family so they can eat nutritiously.
Right. Okay. So how did this conversation start then? How did you realize that? I mean, it's a very common sense thing, but we've been dealing with it for decades. So how did the conversation start to get refrigerators in there?
Well, we partner really closely with United Dairy Industry of Michigan, like you mentioned, also Blue Cross Complete of Michigan and the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan Foundation. And as we were discussing the problems, we realized that this is a really important way at a very hyper-local level to reach these families in need. Seniors in need. This is a way to really help them in their day-to-day challenges of having access to this food. And it's nice just to be able to have that. It's kind of like a backup. When families really need it.
Absolutely. How many refrigerators can we buy with this money? Do we know?
Well, so we're putting one refrigerator in each pantry.
So everybody gets one.
Everyone gets one.
You get a fridge.
Yes, everyone gets one. And, these pantries really, they applied for it. They had a case. They expressed their need to serve their community, and we're really happy to be able to support them. Okay, so everyone who applied is getting one then. Have they talked to you yet about well, first of all, when do the actual fridges go in? Has it happened already? So refrigeration units takes a little bit of time to order, but they should be in later this fall.
Okay.
And so it should be launching in each community. Since 2002, we've reached over 220 organizations across the state.
Right. In fact, we're looking at a picture of one right now that go. It's all right. It looks so good. So what kind of feedback are you getting from those who are already putting this in then? This probably is a game changer, not only for the pantry, but for the people that they're serving.
Yes, the people that they're serving are giving incredibly positive feedback. They are so happy to be able to have access to these foods. Often their budgets are very limited, and this provides them a way to get that gallon of milk for their family.
Especially when it's costing $4, $5, $6 a gallon nowadays.
Exactly. To get a bag of apples, to get a block of cheese, like all those things really help families stretch their food dollar, and it also just helps them provide a balanced meal on their table.
That was actually my next question for you too, in terms of the pyramid and the healthy, nutritious, balanced meals that we're going for. When you're only dealing with shelf-stable items and you don't have anything fresh that has to be kept in the fridge, your diet is kind of askew, isn't it?
Yes, it is challenging. It is very challenging to have a balanced diet when it's all shelf stable. That's why we're happy to provide these refrigerators, right? So they have access to that. We know that in order to live a healthy lifestyle, prevent chronic diseases, really age in a healthful way, having a healthy, nutrient-rich diet is very important. And that can also help, reduce healthcare costs in the future.
Right. Yeah, it's a win-win across the board. Okay, so that's now. What's next? What's the next project? What are we working on?
Well, there's been such a tremendous demand for this across the state since 2022. I think we're going to probably be offering this again.
More fridges.
I mean, it's a need. The response was overwhelming.
Yeah.
So we are always looking for the next great thing also. So I'm not saying we won't do other things, but this is something that's really important to us.
Do you know how many fridges you've been able to put in pantries so far?
We've been able to put in
quick math here, right?
over 150.
Wow. Okay. That's a huge impact then.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for coming in.
Thank
Thank you
you
for the fridges. It means so much. Milk and cheese for everybody. We were laughing because my socks have Swiss cheese on them right now.